Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Governor Lee is blowing a hole in the entire state budget.
New tonight, Governor Lee has given state House and Senate leaders an amended state budget. It's about $100 million higher than the spending plan he released back in February, and leading Democrats call it fiscal malpractice.
Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller in studio with us tonight with more on that after speaking with the Senate and House Democratic leadership.
Yes, well, Scott, Megan, GOP leaders tell us that the amended budget is $52.7 billion. Now, that includes an extra $1 million for universal school vouchers. But Democrats are convinced it will cost a lot more and will hurt public schools. Fox 17 News has confirmed the new budget includes more than $400 million for education. That includes $145 million for vouchers and $261 million for K-12 schools. The rub is projections are the voucher program alone will cost the state $400 million in each of the next 2 fiscal years and continue to go up. State Representative John Ray Clemens of Nashville is outraged.
When you blow a hole in the state budget like this, the only people left to pick up that tab are these local governments. They're going to have to raise property taxes in every county. They'll have to raise will taxes and find other sources of revenue at the local level.
Republican leaders argue this bill puts Tennessee parents in the driver's seat and lets them decide which schools are best for their child. We reached out to the governor for comment, but so far there's been no response. Representative Clemens argues this budget will destroy public education.
We're going to see massive cuts. Probably teachers are going to lose their jobs. The biggest employers in some counties, being the school systems, are going to have to make job cuts.
The legislature has the final say on the budget. It remains to be seen how the governor's amended spending plan will impact the competing education bills in both the House and Senate. Reporting live from in studio, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. Continuing coverage now on the crisis at the southern border. Tennessee Senator Marsha Blackburn was at Eagle Pass, Texas today, where that state continues to occupy a riverside park holding off the feds, keeping migrants from illegally crossing into the U.S. Senator Blackburn says Texas Governor Greg Abbott is doing what the Biden administration won't, and that's enforce federal immigration laws. She says that the efforts in Texas prove that blockades work.
Of Operation Lone Star, because of what they're doing to actually secure that border, their numbers are going down.
Now, Blackburn says Texas is spending billions of dollars every year trying to secure the border. She says they shouldn't have to. She's sponsoring a bill that would force the feds to reimburse local law enforcement, which is working crimes that were committed by illegal immigrants.
Tomorrow marks 1 year since the mass shooting at the Covenant Christian School in Green Hills, when a shooter opened fire and killed 3 students and 3 staff members. That attack sparked protests and calls for state lawmakers to pass laws keeping guns out of the hands of people with mental health problems. But what has changed? Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker reporting from the state capitol with more on that debate.
The central question here is, how do we stop this from happening again? Is it better school security, gun reform, or a greater emphasis on mental health? Well, here we are 12 months later and still little agreement.
It's a tragedy Nashville will never forget. A 28-year-old former student enters the Covenant School and goes on a deadly shooting spree. 3 of the victims were just 9 years old.
But just sitting there with those folks, you know, and most of them not knowing if their child's okay or not for hours on end, something I'll never forget.
State Representative Bo Mitchell says his legislative assistant had a 4th grader at Covenant. Shortly after the murders, protests ensued, with Covenant moms calling on gun reform changes. And Governor Lee called the legislature back to work in a special session on public safety.
It was a very unspecial session. You know, when we have a special session on gun reform and I can't present a bill that says the word gun in it, you know, it's kind of, your hands are tied. I call what we've done is like secondary legislation. We've addressed some mental health issues.
The state has allocated millions of dollars for school safety enhancements. Some districts have used the money to add school resource officers, while others bought ballistic film for doors and windows to keep shooters out. That includes metro schools.
Well, I don't think there is a simple single solution.
John Harris with the Tennessee Firearm Association believes too many people are focused on the wrong thing.
The question might become, why are we focusing so much on guns? Because you can cause just as much harm with knives or explosives or even automobiles. And we're not really focusing on the societal questions of why is violence in general growing?
Right now, Bo Mitchell is sponsoring several gun reform bills. One of them would increase the legal age to buy a firearm from 18 to 21. Also today, Majority Leader William Lambert secured more than $5 million in funding for changes to public safety, including mental health. For now, at the Capitol, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Nice quiet night ahead here. Live look from our South Nashville camera. And after what was a rainy morning, and even 24 hours ago, this view was hard to see with all of the rain that was around. We are looking much better for tonight here. We will be, again, pretty quiet through the evening hours. Front finally pushing through. It took all day, but it has made its way through the area. The result will be cooler conditions as we head into tomorrow, as we look at clearing skies as well. So tonight, with the clear sky and the light wind that's in place, frosty conditions may be possible for us. We'll see temperatures drop into those mid to upper 30s area wide. And again, that may yield a little bit of frost for us, mainly localized and in low-lying areas. Here in Nashville should be around 39 or so, upper 30s for Lebanon, Murfreesboro, Tullahoma right around 40 degrees, Lewisburg sitting at about 40 as well. Coming up, we'll talk more about the rest of the week, what we can expect as we head closer to the holiday weekend, and we'll talk to you about Easter Sunday. That all in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
One of the greatest baseball players that ever lived, Puerto Rico and Tennessee all tied together in a lawsuit that could change property rights for every single American. That story's next.
Also ahead, the latest on the bridge collapse early this morning in Baltimore, what search crews are saying tonight about the missing.
And almost 2/3 of fourth graders here in the U.S. struggle to read at grade level. That's why Fox 17 and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, partnering up with Read
of your home. Thanks, Aaron. People have asked me to curb my appeal, but that's impossible.
Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. No payments for 24 months. Window Nation, the perfect fit.
New tonight, city leaders in Baltimore, Maryland dealing with the impacts of a major bridge collapse. Now, let me show you exactly where this happened early this morning. For a little perspective, here's Washington, D.C., the nation's capital. Up here, about an hour and 15 minutes away, depending on traffic, is Baltimore. And this is the Key Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, where the bridge collapse happened, as we say, very early this morning. A container ship slammed into the bridge minutes after the ship's crew had reported losing power. That Mayday call gave authorities time to stop the flow of traffic both ways on the bridge, but cars that were still on the bridge at the time, they plummeted into the water. President Biden says this incident does not appear to be intentional.
We're going to send all the federal resources they need as we respond to this emergency, and we're going to rebuild that port together.
8 construction workers were filling potholes on the bridge at the time of the crash and subsequent collapse. 2 of them were rescued. The other 6 are still missing and unfortunately presumed dead. The search will resume in the morning. Now, if what happened in Maryland sounds eerily familiar, it should. Virtually the same thing happened here in our area a little over 12 years ago. You may remember a cargo ship called the Delta Mariner took out a 300-foot section of the Egner's Ferry Bridge over Kentucky Lake just north of the Tennessee-Kentucky border near Cadiz. Federal regulators at the time blamed crew inattention and inadequate lighting on the bridge for the collision. No one was on this bridge at the time, so no one was hurt. This span was replaced, though, in record time. This bridge reopened 4 months later.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Tonight in the Farrier Files, we ask, can the government make a profit off your name and legacy, even if it's copyrighted? There's a historic case involving a Major League Baseball legend and his family's fight with the Puerto Rican government. The case so important, the Beacon Center of Tennessee is getting involved. Fox 17 News' Dennis Ferrier with the story.
The Beacon Center of Tennessee is making a big statement by going outside of Tennessee to sue Puerto Rico. The Beacon Center says this case is so big, it could affect property rights for every single American. The incomparable Roberto Clemente, the biggest name in the history of Puerto Rico. Clemente died tragically in a plane crash still in the prime of his baseball career. The name is synonymous with quality and character and the soul of his native soil. But all of that has turned into an ugly fight with the government. His son, Luis Roberto Clemente, is literally fighting for his father's name.
There's a law in Puerto Rico that supposedly when someone dies 25 years after, it becomes public domain. But in our case, we're not talking about just someone who just died. You're talking about a person that has, his name has become a brand itself and is protected and is registered, you know, in the federal law.
The Puerto Rican government has made $15 million on a Roberto Clemente license plate and special sticker. The family has seen none of it.
It's surreal is a word. I still, there's days that I wake up and I say, no, that it didn't happen, you know?
The family attorney had heard of the Beacon Center of Tennessee and its incredible record of winning lawsuits against government. The Beacon Center has won every lawsuit it's filed against government in Tennessee at the local, state, and even federal level.
It is absolutely government theft of property.
Wen Fa is lead counsel for the Beacon Center in this lawsuit against Puerto Rico.
We're fighting for the property rights of every single American. It's a fundamental right that if the government takes your property, it must pay. And here, Puerto Rico has taken property, the Clemente's trademark, sold it for $15 million and refused to pay a single dime. That is wrong, regardless of whether the government commits the offense against residents of Puerto Rico, Tennessee, or New York, or any other American. And that's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for fundamental property rights, the ability to be paid when the government takes your property.
The Clementes also accused the government of taking Roberto Clemente's sports city, his dream for kids to play sports and compete.
What they've done is extremely, extremely wrong. And I am protecting not only ourselves, our family, but what could happen to anyone. You know, if this is allowed, then any government can actually just do that and trample over anyone's rights. And that's just extremely wrong.
No longer his not-for-profit, but government property. Even though Puerto Rico isn't a state, it acts like one, and all of its legal cases go through our court system all the way to the United States Supreme Court. The Beacon Center wins lawsuits. In fact, if you ever build a home in Nashville, you no longer have to pay for your own sidewalks after the Beacon Center humiliated Metro Nashville and Vice Mayor Angie Henderson for trying to make citizens pay for what government is responsible for. I'm Dennis Ferrier, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News Farrier Files is sponsored by Bart Durham Injury Law.
Well, as we head into the next couple of days, we have some nice weather to enjoy. Our active day was yesterday and early this morning. Took a while to clear out, but it did. And now we're looking at some nice conditions for us. Chilly for tonight, as I mentioned earlier, but nice. Rainfall over the last 24 hours, not bad. Good dose of rain. We need it every now and then. And again, this is a radar estimate, so you may have seen a little more, maybe a little less in your rain gauge. Just a good picture to show you at least where some of those higher totals set up. And it looks like it was in our southern counties closer to Lawrence County that picked up the bigger rain for today. Great days ahead. We are looking at some frosty mornings, one of those being tomorrow morning and then probably Thursday morning as well. And Easter Sunday, we'll have a look at the forecast a little later on, but it is looking nice. Our temperature here, you can see close to 80 for the afternoon. Big warm up on the way here. We'll start on the cool side. Our average is around 65, 66. So we're going to be a little below that. But notice as we head towards the end of the week, we are close to 80 degrees, and that'll continue into early next week. But we will be looking at some showers and storms by Monday and Tuesday. Temperatures not looking too bad here, 49 by 10 o'clock in the morning. That's a great temperature, by the way, to get out and do some exercise like running. You'd think you'd want comfortable weather. This is a tangent, but you really like the cooler weather is really where it's at for those runs. So next morning, couple of mornings will be nice for some morning runs if you want to get out, maybe do some exercise. Temperatures in those upper 50s as we head towards 2 o'clock and we should touch the low 60s for the afternoon. So we walk you through the overnight, couple clouds lingering, but other than that, mainly clear skies the story all the way through the afternoon and into Wednesday evening, early Thursday morning. You can see that we continue to find pretty clear conditions here. So we take you then through Thursday afternoon and into Friday. You can see high pressure pushes to our south. So the high for tomorrow will be to our west, and that's what's helping to pull in some slightly cooler air for us. It'll slide south as we head towards Thursday night and Friday morning. And then for Friday, we're already looking at warmer weather as that high slips to the east of us, and that ushers in warmer weather. We keep skies mainly clear all the way through Saturday and likely Easter Sunday. A stray shower possible for Sunday, but really right now I'm keeping things dry. 39 our temperature for the overnight. We'll look at mainly clear skies, looking at a cool night for us. As we head into tomorrow, right around 62. Again, it's a couple degrees below average. Really not far off though. We keep skies mainly sunny with light winds out of the north for tomorrow. Again, that north wind, cool wind, ushering to keep temperatures a little bit cooler than average for us. But we'll see that sunshine around. Overall, a great day. We'll talk more about our weekend forecast. We've got more too on Easter Sunday. That all coming up in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
I'm Kayla Gaskins outside the Supreme Court. Coming up, justices are hearing arguments in the first abortion access case since they overturned Roe v. Wade.
Also had more trouble for the embattled owner of a Rutherford County horse stable. Why new charges are likely.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News this morning anchor Erica Glover. The average cost of homes continuing to increase. What President Joe Biden
and off instantly in every department. Plus, get up to 36 months free financing. It's Markdown Mania at Electronic Express. We make it happen.
The Supreme Court weighing the biggest abortion case since it overturned Roe v. Wade. Fox 17 News' Kayla Gaskins has more. And by the way, you can vote on this issue by scanning the QR code that will appear here shortly on your screen during this story.
Across the country,
Demonstrations taking place outside the Supreme Court Tuesday.
Abortion is health care.
As the justices sat inside, hearing oral arguments regarding restricted access to one of the most popular abortion pills, mifepristone, that's now used in roughly 2/3 of all abortions in the U.S.
This is our typical scene for these types of hearings, and I think it's important for everyone to have their voice heard.
Banning the pill is not expected to be on the table.
We are not going to let our personal bodily autonomy, our personal medical decisions be decided by extreme judges.
Conservative lawmakers are asking the High Court to roll back rules the FDA put in place expanding access, such as allowing the pill to be prescribed through telehealth appointments and then mailed to patients. Another issue is the FDA allowing patients to take the pill in the first 10 weeks of pregnancy instead of the originally approved 7 weeks.
Which I desperately wanted.
Pro-life activists say these changes endanger women.
Well, this case is about reinstating the original regulations about the abortion pill. So at the very least, it would prevent situations like we've seen of women walking into our clinics hemorrhaging because no one told them what would happen.
The White House and abortion rights advocates argue those claims are too speculative to have legal sway.
Thinks politicians should keep their mouths shut.
The Biden administration also argues overriding the FDA's judgment to regulate the abortion pill would open a floodgate of other lawsuits targeting controversial medications, including contraception, gender-affirming care drugs, and COVID-19 vaccines. A decision in this case is expected to come down in June, and it could shake up the 2024 election cycle as Democrats push to make protecting abortion access a key issue up and down the ballot. Reporting outside the Supreme Court, I'm Kayla Gaskins.
Well, during that story, we had a QR code linked up to this poll asking the question, do you support restrictions on access to abortion pills here in the U.S.? We've had 211 votes come in so far. 52.6% say yes, 47.4% say no.
Update now on an alleged horse abuse case we are following in Rutherford County. State leaders removed 3 more malnourished horses from a stable owned by Jason Lancaster. That brings the total now to 23 horses that are now undergoing equine rehab treatment. Lancaster's already facing 9 counts of animal cruelty in this case.
Up next, why several states are banning these popular Bradford pear trees and what you can plant instead.
Also, we had a call for help.
100 trucks. Visit your local Ram dealer today.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by B.F. Myers Furniture.
Right now, breaking news from Utah, where Metro Police say officers have arrested Blaze Taylor. A national grand jury indicted the 27-year-old for fatally poisoning his girlfriend and her unborn baby last year. Taylor moved to Utah after their deaths. Police are now working to bring him back to Nashville for trial.
We are going to continue to seek justice for Austin until we have it, because he deserves it. And so does anybody else who's been put in a similar situation.
Tonight in Operation Crime and Justice, the family of a man who died after an altercation with a bouncer at a Music Row bar continues to push for justice. Fox 17 News' Peyton Muse with brand new information tonight from the scene of that deadly altercation.
It started out as a night of celebrating. Austin Turner's stepmom, Megan Turner, tells us a group of his friends came right here to Tin Roof onto Mumbrian Street to have a good time after winning a sports bet. That night on February 18th was anything but that for Austin Turner's family and friends.
And he was leaving that bar. So my son was not an aggressor.
Police say 36-year-old Richard Cornelius did not let Austin Turner back into the bar, and that's when the fight broke out. Nearby surveillance shows Cornelius swinging at Austin Turner several times, striking him at least once, causing him to fall unconscious. Turner was in a coma for 16 days. His family had to make an extremely difficult decision to take him off life support. His stepmother says she wouldn't wish this upon anyone.
Our son is no longer with us, but trying to accept it is a bigger task. And Audie left behind a lot of family members that loved him.
Austin, a big brother to 4 of his younger sisters, an uncle, a son, a nephew, a cousin, and an amazing friend.
Nothing can ever bring him back. And there's no thing that could ever happen that will truly be justified. But what we can do is we can help prevent future occurrences like this from happening.
The bouncer, Richard Cornelius, faces aggravated assault charges. His license is suspended, and the owner of Tin Roof says he does not work there anymore. The bouncer's attorney says Richard Cornelius is innocent and he's not an aggressive person. Austin Turner's family is asking anyone for information who saw what happened that night, heard what went down, to please reach out to them. Reporting in Midtown, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
We are starting this evening now looking a bit chilly here. I thought we'd look at Broadway and see how things are going downtown. Still have some people out and about enjoying the downtown area here, but temperatures are turning chilly quickly. Right now sitting in the 50s in Nashville, but we have some cooler air moving in. You can see it just off to our north and to our west. 64 up in Kentucky. We're looking at, again, 50s. For us here in Nashville, or I should say 64 for us here in Nashville. Huntsville sitting at 56. I need to get my eyesight checked. Cooler air to the north and to the west, and we are looking at that to ooze in through the overnight, which is one of the reasons why we will end up a little chilly for tomorrow morning. At the bus stop, we'll see temperatures around 39, 41 by 9, and 46 degrees as we head towards 9 a.m. With lots of sunshine around throughout the day. Talk about this warmer weather that's on the way. We've got a sneak peek at your Easter forecast as well, and we're tracking the next chance for rain, when we'll see our next rainmaker move in. It's in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
Katie, thank you. Right now across the state, Bradford pears just like this. They are beautiful white blooms. They are in bloom all over the state. Beautiful, as I say, but notoriously weak when it comes to standing up to the strong winds we have. That's why some states are now banning them. Fox 17 News meteorologist Brett Luna shows us alternatives that you can plant instead.
Walk past one and it'll smell like you just walked past a pond full of dead fish. The smell will just about knock you down, but that's not why there's a push to ban these Bradford pear trees. Several states, including Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Ohio, have already banned them. In others, there's talk about doing the same. Board-certified master arborist with Bartlett Tree Experts Michael Davey says he gets why some folks like them, but says they're just not great for everything around them.
I go to people's houses all the time, and sometimes they have them, and they're like, I love this thing. And it's I understand the appeal of them. They have really nice flowers. They have nice fall color. It's really late, but they are just becoming such a problem.
These trees are starting to take over habitats of the native plants, and that affects our pollinators like bees and other insects.
There are insects that will go after them, but it's not really a host plant like a lot of other native plants. And so as it kind of starts to push these other native plants out, it kind of can reduce the habitat for a lot of the other natives that would normally be there.
The main reason these trees are being banned is because of their invasiveness, but they're also rapid growers and they're pretty weak. A lot of times during any windstorm, you'll see these trees split right in half and just create a headache. Some alternatives Davey recommends planting are trees like a native dogwood or plum trees. These will also flower white around the same time. There are other non-native plants that aren't nearly as aggressive as the Bradford pear. Crab apples, native or hybrid, but he says most of the hybrids aren't going to be a problem. Reporting in Nashville, Brett Luna, Fox 17 News, your Code Red.
Or get 4.49% APR or $1,000 bonus cash. Visit your local Hyundai dealer today.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
In sports, the Nashville Predators making a push of the postseason, and they're looking to extend their 17-game point streak tonight downtown at Bridgestone Arena.
And that's never easy to do when you're hosting the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick joining us now live from Bridgestone with more on the game. And Jill, it didn't look good early for the Preds tonight.
No, it didn't, Megan. In fact, it was one of the Preds' uglier starts over this past month. Preds quickly finding themselves in a hole, and that's because they didn't come out attacking against the Knights. The Knights were the aggressors early on at Bridgestone Arena, but Preds were able to work their way back into the game. Let's show you how it all started at Bridgestone Arena tonight. Right away, Preds down 3-0, digging themselves in a big hole, but fortunately, the second period was a lot better. Preds forward Mark Jankowski gives the wrist shot a go, gets the Preds their first goal of the game. Knights, though, able to extend their lead 4-1 in the second period, but this time Preds answer back quickly. Ryan O'Reilly finding the back of the net, his 25th goal of this season. So Preds now cutting into the lead 4-2, but they don't stop there. Who other than Philip Forsberg keeps the comeback alive. Forsberg scoring his 40th goal of the season and his 6th goal in 6 games. So Preds down 4-3, just 40 seconds later, they tie it up. This time, Gus Nyquist with the equalizer, 4-4 with 7 minutes to go. And I'm just told we are going into overtime. So this game not over yet. Preds trailed by as many as 3 goals. They were down 4-1 in the third period, but do not count this team out. There's a reason why they have been red hot over this last month and a half. That 17-game point streak, well, they just extended it to 18 points because no matter the outcome in overtime, Preds will still get that 1 point for finishing tied in regulation. So 18 straight games with a point for the Nashville Predators, and hopefully they'll be able to come out of this one with an overtime win. I'll have an update on this game coming up tonight at 10. But for now, live from Bridgestone Arena, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Coming up, more on our next good chance for rain, when you can expect it. We're timing it out in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
And a simple way to help keep Tennessee girls in the classroom, what one lawmaker wants you to do at the store to help make it happen.
And keeping kids under the age of 14 off social media.
Portage LX for $279 a month.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen.
Covering the Capitol tonight, a state lawmaker from Knoxville is asking you to help her pass a bill that she is convinced will help reduce absenteeism in our public schools. The reason embarrassing to talk about, but she says critical to young women across our state. It's something every Tennessee schoolgirl will need at some point, but not all of them can afford. Feminine hygiene products.
What this legislation does is it creates a fund for menstrual products for those students that are in high school, and it will create a grant fund that is through the Department of Revenue.
State Representative Elaine Davis of Knoxville is one of the sponsors. Her bill would allocate 20% from the tax on this class of women's products to put them in every school bathroom, locker room, and nurse's office free of charge. The cost is estimated at about $180 a year per girl. And studies show 1 in 4 students has missed school because they don't have access to menstrual products.
It's so embarrassing what you might have to go through as a young lady in school. And so if we can, take that away and make sure that these young girls and young women are able to stay in school, then I hope that we can do that.
This bill has been well received in both the State House and Senate, but it has been placed behind the budget. That means it will get the green light only if lawmakers make it a priority after all the essentials are taken care of. That's where you come in.
Currently, Tennessee taxes menstrual products as non-essential luxury goods, and this means that public assistance programs such as TANF and WIC do not cover the cost of these necessary products. And for young ladies, these products are as essential as toilet paper.
Toward that end, Representative Davis is now asking you to pick up the phone, call your House and Senate reps, and ask them to support this bill. We'll keep you posted on its progress.
On Monday, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law that bans children under the age of 14 from having social media accounts. And in Washington, Congress is considering a bill that could ban the TikTok app for all Americans. Tonight, we talked to an expert to weigh in on the matter, Dr. Pamela Winiski, and she's the director of the Socio-Technical Interaction Research Lab here in Nashville.
I'm a strong believer that we should care about parental rights. But on the other hand, I worry that putting it in the hands of parents to give consent for youth to be on these platforms doesn't fix the underlying inherent problems that teens are facing on these platforms, and may or may not just be kind of passing the buck to parents. So really, we want to make sure that we're giving parents rights in a meaningful way. At the same time, we also have to consider the youth who may not have those active and engaged parental support systems at home, and the resources we might be taking away from them by putting all of the rights in the hands of parents.
And Washington right now doubling down on the use of TikTok, entertaining the idea of even banning it for Americans if the China-held company doesn't relinquish control there. Thoughts?
I'm a little worried that we're making policy-based decisions for the United States that are against the value systems of what we stand for as Americans, and building walls and taking arbitrary stances against certain platforms. I did a tongue-in-cheek kind of comment in another interview of, well, let's just build a digital firewall to block everything out of China. But really, that's not going to be the solution here. We need to think about good privacy and data protection policies in the U.S. Because honestly, in the U.S., we tend to be lagging across other countries.
Dr. Pamela Winiski, thank you so much for your insight. The Socio-Technical Interaction Research Lab right here in Nashville doing great work. Thank you so much. Well, we want to open this up to everybody. What do you think? Should Tennessee pass a law requiring parental consent for children under the age of 14 to use social media? A lot of people weighing in on this one. 1,285 votes have come in. 83.4% of respondents say yes, that children under 14 it should require parental consent, compared to 16.6% that say no. This poll is live right now. To cast your vote, you can scan the QR code on your screen. It will take you over to our X page. Our handle's at Fox Nashville, and we will show you updated poll results here tonight on Fox 17 News at 10.
All right, turning to the weather, we had a little blow last night. Things cooled off a bit, but they're already warming back up.
Yeah, they are over the next couple of days. I'll tell you what, I have been so scatterbrained this afternoon that I just looked at my graphic and it has the wrong date, so I thought I could swoop
It was like the
in
full
here
moon
and
that we
edit
just
it.
had, right?
I know.
It's messing up our brain waves.
It really, I mean, I've been all over the place today. I don't know what it is.
It's the pollen. That's what it is.
must
Blame the
be.
pollen.
I can blame the pollen. That's right. So I went in here. I went and edited the date. I had the 26th. Tomorrow's the 27th.
That's right.
Didn't want to confuse anybody, and I thought I could swoop in there and do it before you toss to me. Didn't make it, but that's okay. Yes, you know, we were looking at a rainy day today. We're looking at a nice warming trend over the next few afternoons. It's going to start a little cool tomorrow. We're in the low 60s, so cooler than what we had today. But from there, we're stair-stepping our way back to about 80 by the end of the week. So we take a look at tomorrow. This is right around 11 o'clock, right around 51 here in Nashville, upper 40s in Clarksville, and Murfreesboro sitting at about 53. Notice too, the blue that you see here, those are wind speeds, much better than what we had earlier this week. So light winds tomorrow with temperatures in those upper 50s, close to 60. This is 2 o'clock. We should be in the upper 50s. Low 60s as we head into the afternoon hours. 6 p.m. still looking good. And from there, we'll drop back into the 30s once again as we head through the overnight. Maybe low 40s, but likely into the 30s for a lot of us here. And that could actually lead to more patchy frost for Thursday morning. So maybe a little bit of it tonight. Probably a little bit better bet for Thursday morning with temperatures again in those mid to upper 30s. As we take a look at Easter Sunday, though, looking great. Highs will be around 78 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and nice and warm afternoon for Easter Sunday. Then we look ahead to our next rain chance. We are dry all the way through the weekend. Thursday or Monday and Tuesday will be our next chance for showers, and it will be scattered across the area here. We'll start this next Monday, and you can see most of the first half of the day is dry. Better chances of rain, I think, for Monday will come in Monday night. The bigger rain chance is Tuesday. This is Tuesday morning. And notice as we head through the afternoon hours, we're looking at more showers to pass through. Could even see a couple heavy pockets of rain moving on through here. Some thunderstorms also possible through Tuesday night into early Wednesday. A little too early to talk about the potential for any strong thunderstorms, but at least we're looking at, I would say, thunderstorm potential as we head towards Tuesday night. So that is something we'll keep our eye on. And once we know something, we'll let you know. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. Highs will be close to 80 Monday, low 70s as we get into Tuesday. And once again, the holiday weekend looking good.
Just ahead, a matter of safety. What a
An update now on the push for safety improvements along the downtown riverfront after the death of Riley Strain.
Now, downtown Councilman Jacob Coupon will introduce a resolution next week calling for both immediate and long-term action. This comes after 22-year-old Missouri College student Riley Strain, seen here. He is believed to have fallen down the river embankment along Gay Street a couple of weeks back and drowned. Metro Fire rescued a homeless man who fell into the river in the same area a few days back. Councilman Coupon is calling for a year-long safety study along with better fencing, lighting, and trash cleanup.
First thing I would love to see is fencing along this Gay Street riverfront. I've talked to Parks about pricing that out. And again, in the short term, figuring a way to make sure that there are not areas that someone, even a little kid, might run and is 6 steps away from a cliff.
Coupon is also working with homeless services to find homes for the unhoused people living along the river.
Just ahead, a major shot in the arm. How many families Second Harvest Food Bank here in the Mid-State will be able to help with a donation from a major chicken producer. In your community tonight, Second Harvest Food Bank just received a record donation that will help people who literally don't know where their next meal's coming from.
Well, Purdue donated 80,000 pounds of frozen chicken breast to Second Harvest and local partner agencies throughout Tennessee. It's part of the largest ever national protein donation of 33 million pounds of chicken which will provide 2.75 million meals for needy and deserving families.
We can't exist without partnerships like this. For us, when someone asks us how can we help, we're always talking about three things, and that's time, food donations, and also funds, because we can't exist with that.
This donation will help 353,000 people, including nearly 100,000 children who are facing food insecurity in 45 Tennessee counties.
Homeland Security raids 2 of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs' homes in connection to a sex trafficking investigation. I'm Jonathan Hunt in Los Angeles. I'll have the latest on that story coming up.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has announced his pick for VP. I'm Dee Dee Gatton with more on why his campaign has the Biden team concerned.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We begin with breaking news in Utah, where Metro Police say officers have arrested Blaze Taylor. A Nashville grand jury indicted the 27-year-old for poisoning that killed his girlfriend and her unborn baby last year.
Well, Taylor moved to Utah after their deaths, and police are working to extradite Taylor back to Nashville for trial.
Governor Lee is blowing a hole in the entire state budget.
New tonight, Governor Bill Lee dropping an amended budget today. It's about $100 million higher than the old one, and leading Democrats in the House are calling it fiscal malpractice.
Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller here in studio with reaction from a leading House Democrat. Caitlin.
Megan Scott, the GOP says that the amended budget is $52.7 billion. Now, that includes an extra $1 million for universal school vouchers. But Democrats are convinced that it will cost a lot more and will hurt public schools. Fox 17 News has confirmed that the new budget includes more than $400 million for education. That includes $145 million for vouchers and $261 million for K-12 schools. The rub is projections are the voucher school program alone will cost the state $400 million in each of the next 2 fiscal years and continue to go up. State Representative John Ray Clements of Nashville is outraged.
When you blow a hole in the state budget like this, the only people left to pick up that tab are these local governments. They're going to have to raise property taxes in every county. They'll have to raise will taxes and find other sources of revenue at the local level.
Republican leaders argue that this bill puts Tennessee parents in the driver's seat and lets them decide which schools are best for their child. We reached out to the governor for comment, but so far there's been no response. Representative Clements argues that this budget will destroy public education. Now, the legislature has the final say on the budget. It remains to be seen how the governor's amended spending plan will impact the competing education bills in both the House and Senate. Reporting live from in studio, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
New tonight, tomorrow marking the 1-year anniversary since the Covenant School tragedy after a 28-year-old shooter gunned down 3 students and 3 staff members. And while some changes have been made this past year, some groups feel that more needs to be done. Since then, protesters and some lawmakers have called on gun reform, while others wanted to see changes in the school system. Some districts brought in school resource officers or bought ballistic film for doors and windows to keep shooters out. This all came after Governor Bill Lee called on a special session for public safety, which ended with more protests.
It was a very unspecial session. You know, when we have a special session on gun reform and I can't present a bill that says the word gun in it, it's kind of, your hands are tied.
The question might become, why are we focusing so much on guns? Because you can cause just as much harm with knives or explosives or even automobiles. And we're not really focusing on the societal questions of why is violence in general growing.
Moving forward, State Representative Bo Mitchell has several bills pending right now that address firearm reform. One of them is changing the age to buy a gun from 18 up to 21. Also today, Majority Leader William Lamberth secured $5 million more for major public safety and mental health projects.
In your community, if you noticed some explosions and fire, what looked like it at the Nashville International Airport today, not to worry, it was all part of a big emergency drill. This drill is actually one of 3 annual exercises mandated by the Federal Aviation Administration. Now, this one featured explosions, fire like this. This is real stuff, too, and smoke. They burned up an old plane. Organizers tried to simulate a real aircraft fire. The goal was to gauge the response of the airport and test airfield disaster preparedness. And Katie, the winds were whipping out there with the flames and all the rest.
Yeah, it was quite windy over the past couple of days. Good news is the winds have quieted down, and we are looking A-OK this evening as we look at temperatures to drop into those 30s. So the light winds actually will help put temperatures around 37 to 38 here in town as we head through the overnight. Live look at downtown here. You can see a couple Preds jerseys out, and game looks to be out by now, and temperatures sitting in those upper 50s with a clear night across the area here. The front has finally pushed through. Took a while, but we are looking at that front where all the gusty winds are, right about here along this line of showers. The front's pushing through tonight. We will start to usher in slightly cooler weather with this high pressure pushing in for tomorrow. With the clear sky and the light wind, frost possible for us. It'll be localized. I don't expect a lot of it, but if you're in low-lying areas or you just want to make sure that you've potted something outside, go ahead and bring it in just to be on the safe side. Temperatures will be in the upper 30s here in Nashville, Murfreesboro around 38, Cookeville, Crossville sitting in the upper 30s as well. We'll walk you through the rest of the week, talking about a warmer couple of days ahead and how Easter Sunday's looking. It's in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Scott.
Katie, thank you. Just ahead, a comeback for the ages. How the Nashville Predators pulled off the overtime win tonight over the defending Stanley Cup champs.
And almost 2/3 of 4th graders here in the U.S. struggle to read at grade level. That's why Fox 17 and our parent company, Sinclair Broadcasting, partnering up with Reading is Fundamental to support children's literacy. You can scan this QR code to donate to our virtual book drive.
Hey there, I'm Fox 17 News This Morning anchor Erica Glover. The average cost of homes continuing to increase.
The Big Bang Theory. Tomorrow at 6 on Fox 17. This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Homebuyers.
In sports tonight, the Nashville Predators making a push for the postseason and looking to extend their 17-game point streak this evening downtown at Bridgestone Arena.
Well, that's never easy, though, when you're hosting the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. But somehow, Fox 17 sports director Jill Jelenic joining us live from Bridgestone Arena with more on the game. And Jill, the Preds really had to dig themselves out of a hole tonight.
Megan, Scott, it didn't look good early for the Nashville Predators, quickly trailing 3-0 after the first period. Some uncharted territory for this Preds team, but there's a reason why they are on a 17-game point streak. This is a team that does not back down easy, and that was certainly the case tonight. Let's show you how it all went down at Bridgestone Arena. The first 15 minutes of the game, Preds were quickly trailing 3-0, but unfortunately, the second period was a lot better. Preds forward Mark Jankowski gets the wrist shot to go, giving the Preds their first goal of the game. So now Preds trailing 3-1. Knights, however, would add another goal, extending their lead 4-1. But this time the Preds answer back quickly. Ryan O'Reilly finding the back of the net, his 25th goal of the season, as Preds cut the lead in half, 4-2. But they didn't stop there. Who other than Philip Forsberg? He's on a hot streak, keeps the comeback alive, gets his 40th goal of the season and his 6th goal in 6 games. So Preds now down 4-3. 40 seconds later, they score again. The equalizer coming from Gus Nyquist. 4-4 ball game, and to overtime we go. Of course, the captain coming up clutch, Roman Josi getting the overtime game-winning goal as Preds keep their point streak alive, winning 5-4 over the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
That says a lot. That's not an easy spot to be in, but I think everyone just rallies around each other and picks each other up in that situation, and no one goes rogue. Everyone just kind of comes together, and when you do that and find a way to crawl back into the game is it's an impressive thing that we have to keep going.
This was a crucial win for the Nashville Predators, not only because they extend their point streak to now a franchise record 18 straight games, but this was also an important game because of the point streak and the standings for the wild card spot. Preds currently sit in the first wild card spot in the West with 90 points, and because of this win over Las Vegas, they now have a 4-point lead over the Golden Knights over them in that second wild card spot. So again, all of these points coming down to the wire. These are crucial as we get to the final stretch of the season. Just 10 games left for the Nashville Predators as they make a massive push for the postseason, and they'll continue that push on Thursday when they hit the road and take on the Arizona Coyotes. Reporting live from Bridgestone Arena, Jill Jolnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Getting ready to make a decision, the Supreme Court ruling that could mean a huge win for abortion activists.
And coming up, we'll talk more about the warm-up that is on the way and how Easter Sunday is looking.
Stocks continuing to struggle on Wall Street on Tuesday. The Dow, S&P 500, and NASDAQ all closed lower for the second day in a row after being up earlier in the trading day. But shares of former President Donald Trump's social media company soared on its first day of trading. The parent company of Truth Social app, named Trump Media and Technology Group, popped more than 16% on Tuesday. Well, shoppers are feeling a little shaky as we head into spring. Consumer confidence falling unexpectedly this month. The Conference Board, which released a report, says growing anxiety about future economic conditions is a big reason why. And finally, if you like Krispy Kreme, McDonald's has some sweet news for you. The fast food giant says it will start selling the popular donuts nationwide after a successful trial run at locations in Kentucky. The wider rollout will begin later this year with plans to have them in all stores by the end of 2026. That's business. I'm David Asman.
Well, earlier in the newscast, we told you about our X poll asking the question, should Tennessee pass a law requiring parental consent for children under the age of 14 to use social media? 1,308 votes have come in. 83.3% of respondents say yes, they should pass a law requiring parental consent, compared to 16.7% that say no. Each night, look for a new poll on our X page that you can participate in.
New tonight, the Supreme Court appears poised to preserve access to a medication that was used in nearly 2/3 of all the abortions in the U.S. last year.
And as Fox News' Shannon Bream reports, that would mark a victory for the Biden administration and abortion rights supporters.
Less than 2 years after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, it heard arguments today over expanded access to a key drug in the protocol for medicated abortions, which now represent a majority of abortions in the U.S.
My body, my choice. Abortion kills. Yes, they kill.
The court is being asked to consider the legality of the FDA's decisions to roll back safety regulations on mifepristone in 2016 and 2021. Things like dropping the requirement that prescribers report adverse health impacts like infections and severe bleeding requiring emergency room visits, unless fatal, and allowing the pill to be dispensed without in-person doctor visits. Supporters of those decisions today argued that the pro-life doctors who brought this lawsuit can't even show they've been injured, but struggled to answer questions from Justice Alito about who would be in a position to sue.
So your argument is that it doesn't matter if FDA flagrantly violated the law, didn't do what it should have done, endangered the health of women. It's just too bad nobody can sue in court.
Even if the justices do get to the merits, there seemed to be widespread skepticism on the bench about whether the Supreme Court should be the one to second-guess the FDA on issues of drug safety.
Do you think that courts have specialized scientific knowledge with respect to pharmaceuticals, and as a company that has pharmaceuticals, do you have concerns about judges parsing medical and scientific studies?
Senator Josh Hawley was in the courtroom today with his 2 young sons, not only because he is a prominent pro-life advocate, but because his wife Erin was one of the attorneys arguing the case. Also in the courtroom, New York Attorney General Letitia James, who led a group of states that filed a brief in support of the FDA's actions. A decision is due by late June. At the Supreme Court, Shannon Bream, Fox News.
In your business news tonight, Chick-fil-A making changes to its business practices to maintain a quality supply of chicken. The fast food giant shifting from chickens that were given no antibiotics ever to no antibiotics important to human medicine. That starts in the spring, these new changes. The company will only use animal antibiotics if those animals surrounding the issue get sick. This announcement comes as bird flu outbreaks across the U.S. have impacted chicken supplies.
After a very rainy start to the day, we are left with a nice evening ahead, and really it was a nice afternoon as well. Things will remain quiet and clear heading into the overnight hours. Not after picking up, though, a decent amount of rain. This is the rainfall in the last 24 hours. Nashville around 1 inch. Again, this is radar estimated, so you may have seen a little more, maybe a little less, depending on where you are. But generally shows you where some of those higher rain totals were, mainly south of I-40, closer to the Alabama border. Now, as far as the days ahead are concerned, the good news is we've got sunshine to enjoy. Not a drop of rain in the forecast, at least through the first half of the weekend. Looking at frosty conditions for some as we head into tomorrow morning and for Thursday morning, with then Easter Sunday looking fairly nice as well. Temperatures here next couple of days will be in a nice warming trend, starting a little cool for tomorrow, right around 62. Our average is the yellow line that you see there, so we climb well above it as we head into the late part of the work week and into the weekend, with highs close to 80 degrees for Easter Sunday, and then Monday looking that way as well. 48 for tomorrow, 10 a.m. We're up to about 58 by the afternoon hours. Mainly sunny skies will be the story for us, and we'll keep skies mainly sunny throughout the day. Cloud cover really is going to be hard to come by here as we take you through the overnight and into tomorrow morning. Mainly clear going into the afternoon. Same thing. Not much to show on future track all the way through Wednesday night into Thursday. So we'll go right to our wider view. High pressure will be passing by Thursday. So we switch from a cooler pattern to a little bit warmer pattern with this high pressure. And the winds will spin clockwise, and that is going to bring in warmer weather by the time we get into Thursday and Friday. This is Saturday morning, still dry at this point. It'll be really Monday before we're starting to at least talk more about the potential for rain. Until then, we have some nice weather to enjoy here. Temperatures close to 78, 80 degrees on Sunday. Monday and Tuesday, some pop-up thunderstorms possible for the beginning of the work week. Tuesday, a little bit better chance for rain with highs dropping into the low 70s. Scott?
Katie, thank you. Right now you can see these white blooming trees all over the area. They're Bradford pears. Now, they look great, but they are not much in terms of strength when it comes to the high winds we have around here, and that's why some states have actually banned them. Fox 17 meteorologist Brett Luna tonight showing us what you might consider planting instead.
Walk past one and it'll smell like you just walked past a pond full of dead fish. The smell will just about knock you down, but that's not why there's a push to ban these Bradford pear trees. Several states, including Pennsylvania, South Carolina, and Ohio, have already banned them. In others, there's talk about doing the same. Board-certified master arborist with Bartlett Tree Experts Michael Davey says he gets why some folks like them, but says they're just not great for everything around them.
I go to people's houses all the time, and sometimes they have them, and they're like, I love this thing. And I understand the appeal of them. They have really nice flowers. They have nice fall color. It's really late, but they are just becoming such a problem.
These trees are starting to take over habitats of the native plants, and that affects our pollinators like bees and other insects.
There are insects that will go after them, but it's not really a host plant like a lot of other native plants. And so as it kind of starts to push these other native plants out, it kind of can reduce the habitat for a lot of the other natives that would normally be there.
The main reason these trees are being banned is because of their invasiveness, but they're also rapid growers and they're pretty weak. A lot of times during any windstorm, you'll see these trees split right in half and just create a headache. Some alternatives Davey recommends planting are trees like a native dogwood or plum trees. These will also flower white around the same time. There are other non-native plants that aren't nearly as aggressive as the Bradford pear. Crab apples, native or hybrid, but he says most of the hybrids aren't going to be a problem. Reporting in Nashville, Brett Luna, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Homeland Security raids two of hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs' homes in
Catch for a limited time. Seafood, eat food at Crystal.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Nashville Predators.
Making headlines tonight, Homeland Security officers raiding 2 homes belonging to music mogul Sean Diddy Combs this week as part of an ongoing sex trafficking investigation.
Fox News' Jonathan Hunt tonight in Los Angeles with the very latest on what is a developing story.
Agents with Homeland Security raided music mogul Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles and Miami homes on Monday. Sources confirmed the raids are connected to a federal sex trafficking investigation. Outside Combs' LA mansion, heavily armed agents could be seen holding long rifles as they cleared the property and led people away in handcuffs or possibly zip ties.
I was really shocked. I mean, I never even expected this to happen.
In Miami, some agents arrived at Combs' waterfront mansion there by boat. Homeland Security investigations confirmed the operation originated in New York.
There have been rumors like this for years, for decades, about this kind of behavior from him.
Sean Combs has been the target of several lawsuits alleging sexual abuse just in the past 6 months. The first of which was filed by his former girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura. That suit was settled the day after it was filed. But other suits followed, with claims of forced drugging and sexual assault. And in February, a male music producer also filed suit claiming he had been abused by Combs. Combs has denied the allegations against him. The attorney representing 2 of those who filed suits told Fox, quote, "Hopefully this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct."
If you have read this complaint and seen the nature of these allegations, the raids aren't that surprising.
Lawyers for Combs have not responded to our requests for comment since his homes were raided. In Los Angeles, Jonathan Hunt, Fox News.
Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has announced his pick for VP. I'm Dee Dee Gatton with more on why his campaign has the Biden team concerned.
Two years, no-cost maintenance.
Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places. Spring sale at Family Leisure. Huge savings on pools, spas, patio, and more.
In politics tonight, independent presidential hopeful Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing his running mate today. Recent polls, by the way, show him with double-digit support.
Fox 17 News' Dee Dee Gatton reports on how his candidacy is drawing the attention of Democrats and why their focus will be on countering him and other third-party candidates.
The next Vice President of the United States of America, Nicole Shanahan.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announcing that California-based attorney Nicole Shanahan will be his vice presidential running mate.
I've asked Nicole to use the platform of the vice presidency to speak for all, not just young people, but all the invisible, voiceless Americans who feel let down by our government.
Shanahan, who was previously married to a Google co-founder, has been one of the largest donors to Kennedy's campaign.
These are 2 of my political convictions I hold today: to serve peace and to help those in poverty.
While Kennedy is running a long-shot campaign, he's currently polling higher than any third-party candidate since Ross Perot in 1992. And this is catching Democrats' attention.
Take the money and run, 'cause you found out that it wasn't hard.
The Democratic National Committee has put together a team to focus on independent and third-party candidates in an attempt to dissuade voters from supporting them. Those voters, they fear, could pull votes from Biden and help Trump get elected in November.
These third-party candidates are a huge problem, and there's a number of them. If you look at RFK Jr., it's the name recognition issue. There are still states in this country, obviously, I mean, Georgia is one of them, I will name, where the Kennedy name is beloved.
But the rest of RFK Jr.'s family members have publicly denounced his campaign, saying it's perilous for the country. His younger sister, Carrie, posting this photo on X this month with the caption, "President Biden, you make the world better." Now that the ticket is set, Kennedy's effort to get on the ballot in all 50 states continues. So far, the only state to have confirmed him on the ballot is Utah, and he may have enough signatures at this point to qualify in 8 states. I'm Dee Dee Gatton reporting.
Gonna be a nice day tomorrow. A little cool.
We were just waiting.